Guy?
All right, mate.
Right, okay, you've been to Morris Lubricants in Shrewsbury?
Yes, mate.
You know we make oil?
Once or twice.
Okay, well we're not going to see how oil is used today, but we're going to talk about one of the ancillary products to this market, and this particular market being passenger car, and that's antifreeze coolants.
Go on.
Okay, so an engine runs at an optimum temperature. Okay, and in order to maintain that optimum operational temperature, it's surrounded by a coolant jacket, and in that coolant jacket will be an antifreeze coolant solution.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so it's all about maintaining, say, operational efficiency of the engine. So an antifreeze coolant has many, many jobs to do. So cooling is one of them, of course, and the best medium for cooling on the planet is water. So water's great, but of course, if you've got water going around an engine,
corrosion.
on its own, corrosion's a
Massive
problem.
corrosion, yeah.
Get it too cold, of course, it turns to ice.
Expands, cracks summits,
Yeah,
load of
ice is
expense.
less
We've
dense
been down
than
that
water.
road.
Yeah, you know, so it's got nowhere to go, so we all crack and break things. So it's great taking heat away, but as I say, at low temperatures, it's no good. So we have to mix that with something called monoethylene glycol, or MEG.
Go on.
Okay? So monoethylene glycol basically is added, and that interferes with the formation of ice crystals. So if you put 50% ethylene glycol and 15% water together, you'll get down to about minus 35, minus 37 degrees centigrade.
Right.
Without it freezing, which is plenty of protection.
50-50,
Yeah,
okay.
50-50.
Is that the normal mix? Antifreeze to water?
If anyone's unsure, 50-50 is the optimum mix.
Right, okay.
And it's the usual mix.
What's the problem with going too much antifreeze?
Too much? Okay, well, so just to give you the other properties of monoethylene glycol, so water boils at 100 degrees centigrade.
Yep.
Okay, so most engines' peak temperatures will be above that. So you don't want water boiling away. So monoethylene glycol actually increases the boiling point, if you like, of water. So rather than it boiling at 100, you need to get to about 107, 108 degrees centigrade.
Okay.
So
and it's under pressure as well, which increases
the pressurised system. Exactly.
Increases the boiling point. Okay.
Exactly. So it's a pressurised system, as you know, if you've ever taken the expansion bottle cap off and it's still hot.
Good way to get scalded.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you've got this balance. So 50-50 is the optimum. So you've got enough water in there to cool. You've got enough monoethylene glycol to stop it boiling away and to stop the ice crystals forming. But monoethylene glycol isn't very good at taking heat away. Okay, it's not the best medium for taking heat away. So if you go stronger than 50-50, there's more monoethylene glycol than water in there.
Right.
Its ability to cool the engine is impeded.
And what will it do? The engine will run hotter?
It'll run hot and overheat, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is this fine balance, and 50-50 is the optimum. People do use 40-60 or 33-67.
I suppose depending on where you are.
Depending where you are in the world, yeah, absolutely. If your ambient temperatures don't drop very low, then you don't need that low frost protection level.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what monoethylene glycol does. So that kind of, as I say, gives you cold performance without ice crystals forming and damaging the engine, and stops the water from boiling away. But of course, that's only part of the overall scenario, if you like, because again, you've got water in there, as you say, and you don't want corrosion taking place. So you have to start putting in something called inhibitors. So inhibitors are chemical compounds which basically prevent rusting and corrosion taking place within the system of the engine. Now, inhibitors have several jobs. One is, I say, protect metallurgies, which may be in there, different alloys, steels, whatever else could be in there, coppers. But also, monoethylene glycol, when it gets hot, oxidizes. Okay, so the thermal soak on it, because obviously it's going around a hot engine all the time, will cause it to oxidize, and oxidization causes acidic byproducts. So now you've got acidic compounds floating around a mainly metallic system. So the other job that the inhibitor package, you call it, or the inhibitor system does, is to protect, again, the cooling system and the components of the engine from the attack, corrosive attack from the acidic byproducts.
Yeah. So the water's bad enough for corrosion in an engine, never mind the stuff you put in it to stop it freezing. That is bad for corrosion as well.
After a period
That's
of
worse,
time,
turns acidic.
Yeah,
right, okay, so go on, what have we got to put in there to stop the corrosion?
So we have something called buffering agents. So if you can keep the pH, okay, so that pH is acidity and alkalinity.
Yep.
If you can keep the pH of the solution about 8.5, so water's neutral at 7.
Go on.
8.5 is slightly alkali. Okay, so when the acids start to form, the alkali reacts with the acids and neutralises them. Right. So it's the old sort of schoolboy equation, if you like. So acid plus alkali gives you a neutral byproduct. So as the oxidisation takes place and the acids form, the alkali reserve, they call it, okay, this kind of alkalinity of the solution reacts with that and it neutralises it, so you don't get acidic corrosion.
Okay.
So that's all kind of clever going on. There are lots of specifications for antifreeze, okay?
Have they all got monoethylene glycol?
Monoethylene glycol.
Are they all based on that?
They're all based on monoethylene glycol.
Okay.
There are some low toxicity options, but this market and the automotive world, off-highway world, is all dominated by monoethylene glycol. But the inhibitor packages are different, okay? You've got different types of antifreeze. You've got old school antifreeze, the old 2-year antifreeze, 2-year blue antifreeze, traditionally dyed blue, just for identification purposes. And the chemistry in there, which is called inorganic chemistry, okay? These are based on inorganic compounds such as silicates, borates, amines, this kind of thing, phosphates, okay? Trust me, that's inorganic chemistry. Okay? It's very active technology. So what it'll do to prevent corrosion and rusting, it's spoiling for a fight, if you like. So all this chemistry, it starts working on everything all the time. So because it's working actively all the time on everything in the system, it depletes really quickly. It only lasts about 2 years. Okay. Which is why you should change.
That's the blue antifreeze.
That's the old-fashioned traditional blue antifreeze. Now, the modern technology antifreezes are based on what we call OAT, organic acid technology. So these are based on a compound, these are carboxylates, which are based on carboxylic acid.
You just made that word up.
I haven't, but you can have a look on the internet, it does exist.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so this is an organic compound, so that means it's got carbon in there, basically. And this is much smarter chemistry. So this only kind of activates when it sees rusting or corrosion taking place. So whereas the old technology trying to stop corrosion and rusting that isn't taking place
all the time, yeah, it wears itself out and only lasts 2 years.
Exactly. So this is smarter. And
organic
it's a
based
bit more targeted.
Antifreeze.
Yes. So organic acid technology antifreeze, or OAT, is the abbreviation that's used. It only activates as and when that chemistry is required. So it lasts up to 5 years.
Right, okay.
So the modern antifreezes now will give you a 5-year lifetime, basically.
Okay. And what colour would they generally be? You get the orange stuff, don't you?
Okay, so colour is completely cosmetic.
Right.
Okay, it has absolutely no bearing on the performance of the antifreeze coolant. It's just there as an identifier. Okay. 2-year blue was one of the first antifreezes. It was always dyed traditionally blue. You could dye it any colour you want, but it's kind of the norm, if you like.
Old school antifreeze is blue. Okay.
Red appeared as the first kind of 5-year antifreeze.
Which was the organic based?
Organic acid technology. But again, it was just cosmetic. It was just a cosmetic change.
So you knew the difference.
Okay. But now you can look on the market and there's a whole rainbow of different colours, you know, which do not indicate the kind of performance or the specification of the antifreeze coolant. It doesn't indicate that.
Specific to a brand or a make of a vehicle or a type of a vehicle.
It's completely cosmetic. I mean, the new range of ultralife coolants, antifreeze coolants that Morris are now producing, and the ultralife range covers over 160 different OEM specifications. So it's wide-reaching.
You've got it all covered at that.
You've got to get it right, yeah, absolutely.
And what about if you mix them together?
Right. Okay. So technologies aren't necessarily friendly to each other. Okay. So because these are all active chemistries, fighting to try and protect different materials and different metals, etc. If there's too many of them in there, they kind of they trip each other up, if you like, for want of a better description. So they're less effective. So you don't want to do that. And you can get sometimes precipitation take place. So they react together and they actually precipitate out of solution. So they're not working at all then. So you don't want that taking place at all. But I don't
understand what you mean. So
precipitation is. I always think the old snow globe. You shake it up.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing you get.
Oh, so they'd start getting into solids.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh right. Then it's not going to. It's going to do now. Right. Okay. Yeah.
So there's lots of technologies, and the OEMs will pick specific combinations of these different compounds to give their engine systems the best type of protection. Okay. So we've got our Ultralife 1, 2 and 3 in front of you here. And these are all geared slightly differently towards different manufacturers' requirements. So for example, sort of Japanese, Korean manufacturers, they like the OAT technology antifreezes, the modern 5-year ones.
Yep, yep.
But they like a little bit of old school phosphate in there as well. Okay, now phosphate is a corrosion inhibitor. It's also a buffering agent to stop this acidic corrosion taking place. But they like that because it gives them a little bit of extra oomph, if you like, to corrosion protection. But some manufacturers like a bit of silicate. Now silicate's brilliant for aluminium components. Okay.
Silicate for like
so silicate's a good inhibitor for aluminium components. Now the water pump bodies, this kind of thing, the impellers. That's great, but silicate can attack certain gasket seals and materials as well. So if your engine's built with those,
it's breaking the rubber hoses down and all of that.
All sorts. So you can't put that into those types of engines. And this is why you get such a myriad of different OEM requirements, basically. And it's a bit like everything else we talk about. It's making sure that you choose the antifreeze coolant based on that OEM specification requirements. Which is why, as I say, the Ultralife range covers a wide range of OEM specifications because everyone wants something slightly different to optimise their protection to their cooling systems. There's a lot of specifications. It's all about making the correct choice to optimise the protection within that engine system. And again, like all these things, you know, if people need advice or technical advice, they can obviously phone Morris Lubricants technical services team. We
you
can
boys
guide
and
people
girls
in the
know.
right direction.
You know, lot to know, boy. There's a lot to know.
But I say it's important. It's all about, again, maintenance. You know, we talk about maintenance. We talk about optimising, you know, the protection of the engine types. And it doesn't matter whether, you know, whether it's a diesel, petrol or hybrid. You've got to be choosing the correct antifreeze coolant to maximise the life out of that. And it's efficiency. Maximise the efficiency, then you maximise or reduce the kind of emissions that's coming out of the exhaust pipe as well.
It's all about now, isn't it? It's all about that. Yeah.
It's all hand in hand. So yeah, so that's antifreeze coolants.
Mega.
All
Play. Learning.
Thank you, Guy. Thank you very much.
Good man.
So if you want to see any more content like this or videos with Guy, then visit the Morris Lubricants website or our YouTube channel.